Comic Boy wasn't your average kid. Nope, he was moulded from clay. Big, googly eyes, a mischievous grin, always ready for a good laugh. He lived on a shelf amidst comic books and action figures in little Timmy's room. Timmy, a 10-year-old with a wild imagination, was Comic Boy's best friend. Every day, Timmy brought Comic Boy to life. He posed him, gave him silly voices, and took him on grand adventures. Comic Boy's world was a child's paradise. Toy cars became roaring race cars, shoeboxes transformed into towering skyscrapers, and blankets, why, they were magical capes billowing in the wind. Each day was a new escapade, a fresh adventure waiting to unfold in the imaginative world of Timmy's bedroom. Comic Boy, with his oversized shoes and infectious laughter, tumbled through Timmy's imagination. His shoes were so big that he often tripped over them, but that only made his adventures more hilarious. One day, they were pirates, sailing the high seas on a sea of blankets. "Arg, matey," Comic Boy would cry, his plasticine sword raised high. "Prepare to walk the plank." The blanket sea would ripple with every movement, making their pirate ship sway dramatically. His voice, provided by Timmy, was a high-pitched squeak, cracking with laughter. It was a voice that could make anyone smile, no matter how bad their day had been. The next day, they were astronauts bouncing across the moon, which looked suspiciously like a pile of pillows. They would leap and bound, pretending the low gravity made them float effortlessly. Their spaceship? A cardboard box, of course, decorated with bottle caps and glitter. It was the most magnificent spacecraft ever imagined, capable of travelling to the farthest reaches of the universe. Through it all, Comic Boy remained optimistic and cheerful. No matter the challenge, he faced it with a smile and a can-do attitude. He never complained, even when he accidentally got squished or covered in lint. To him, every mishap was just another part of the adventure. He knew that for every fall, there was a hilarious bounce back. Comic Boy's resilience was a testament to the boundless creativity and joy that Timmy poured into his playtime. One gloomy Monday, disaster struck. Timmy's lunchbox, a cool metal one with a picture of a rocket, went missing. Timmy was devastated. He searched high and low, his face a picture of worry. "Don't worry, Timmy," Comic Boy chirped, his clay features determined. "We'll find your lunchbox. We're a team, remember?" And so began the great lunchbox investigation. Comic Boy, with his keen sense of smell, or at least that's what Timmy imagined, sniffed around the house. He questioned the teddy bears and interrogated the toy soldiers. The search led them to the backyard, where they found the culprit, the mischievous family dog, Sparky, happily gnawing on an empty lunchbox. The mystery was solved. The lunchbox incident cemented Comic Boy's status as Timmy's sidekick, his confidant, his partner in crime, well, partner in mischief at least. He was always there to lend a hand, or at least a clay thumb, whenever Timmy needed him. One afternoon, Timmy was struggling with his homework. Maths was his nemesis, and fractions even more so. He slumped over his books, a look of utter defeat on his face. "Chin up, Timmy," Comic Boy cheered, striking a heroic pose. "Remember what my comic book says? Even superheroes need help sometimes. We'll crack this together." And they did. With Comic Boy's encouragement and Timmy's brain power, the fractions slowly started to make sense. Laughter filled the room, a testament to the power of friendship and a little bit of silliness. Section 5, The Perils of Show and Tell. One day, Timmy decided to take Comic Boy to school for show and tell. He carefully packed him in his backpack, excited to introduce his clay friend to the world. The other kids, however, weren't as impressed. "It's just a lump of clay," one boy scoffed. "Yeah," another girl giggled. "He doesn't even move." Timmy's face fell. He felt a pang of protectiveness for Comic Boy, who stood stoically on the desk, his usual grin a little dimmer than usual. Timmy knew he had to do something to show everyone just how special Comic Boy was. He took a deep breath and began to tell a story. Section 6, When Clay Crumbles. A Moment of Doubt. This is the story of Timmy, a young boy with a vivid imagination and a heart full of dreams. In his world, anything was possible, and his stories were the gateway to endless adventures. Timmy's voice, infused with passion and imagination, filled the classroom. His eyes sparkled as he spoke, and his hands moved animatedly, painting pictures with his words. The classroom, usually a place of routine and order, transformed into a stage for his tales. He spoke of daring rescues, hilarious mishaps, and the unwavering loyalty of Comic Boy. Comic Boy, his claymation hero, was more than just a character. He was a symbol of bravery and friendship. Timmy's stories brought Comic Boy to life, making him a beloved figure among his classmates. The classroom, once filled with whispers and giggles, fell silent. Every student was on the edge of their seat, hanging on to Timmy's every word. The power of his storytelling had cast a spell, drawing them into a world where anything was possible. He recounted their adventures, battling dust bunnies under the bed, where every speck of dust was a formidable foe, and every shadow held a secret. The battles were fierce, but Comic Boy always emerged victorious, much to the delight of his audience, exploring the wilds of the backyard, where the ordinary became extraordinary. The garden was a jungle, the sandbox a desert, and the trees towering giants. Each adventure was a new chapter in the epic saga of Comic Boy and Timmy, and even their encounter with the dreaded vacuum cleaner monster. It involved a lot of screaming and a lost button eye. The vacuum cleaner, a household object, became a terrifying beast in Timmy's tales, and the lost button eye was a badge of honor from the battle. As he spoke, Timmy noticed something amazing happening. The skepticism on his classmates' faces melted away, replaced with wonder and amusement. They were no longer just listening. They were living the story with him. The skepticism on his classmates' faces melted away, replaced with wonder and amusement. They were captivated by his story. The magic of his words had transformed them, making them believers in the world he had created. They were captivated by his story. But then disaster struck. In his enthusiasm, Timmy gestured wildly, accidentally knocking Comic Boy off the desk. The room gasped as Comic Boy tumbled through the air. In his enthusiasm, Timmy gestured wildly, accidentally knocking Comic Boy off the desk. He landed with a soft thud, his clay body slightly squished. The room held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. He landed with a soft thud, his clay body slightly squished. Timmy's heart raced as he picked up Comic Boy, hoping he wasn't too damaged. The classroom watched in silence, the moment of doubt hanging in the air. Section 7. Sticky Situations and Triumphant Returns. A collective gasp filled the room. Timmy's heart sank. He had been working on Comic Boy for weeks, perfecting every little detail. Now, in a split second, it seemed like all his hard work was about to be undone. He carefully picked up Comic Boy, his fingers trembling. The room was silent, all eyes on him. He could feel the weight of their expectations and his own disappointment. A piece of Comic Boy's arm came off in his hand. It was a small piece, but it felt like a huge failure. He had spent so much time making sure everything was perfect, and now this. He felt tears welling up in his eyes. He didn't want to cry in front of everyone, but he couldn't help it. The frustration and sadness were too much to bear. "Don't worry, Timmy," a voice whispered. It was soft and reassuring, cutting through his despair like a ray of sunshine on a cloudy day. It was Emily, a girl from his class who had always seemed shy and quiet. Timmy had never really talked to her much, but she was always there, in the background, observing. "I know how to fix him," she said with a confidence that surprised Timmy. He had never seen this side of her before. It was like she had been waiting for this moment to reveal her hidden talents. To Timmy's astonishment, Emily took out a small container of modelling clay from her bag. It was as if she had anticipated this very situation and had come prepared. She gently took Comic Boy from him and with deft fingers began to reshape him. Her hands moved with a skill and precision that left Timmy in awe. It was like watching an artist at work. Soon Comic Boy was as good as new, maybe even better. Emily had managed to not only fix the broken arm, but also improve the overall look of the figure. Emily had even given him a jaunty new hat, fashioned from a scrap of red clay. It was a small touch, but it made Comic Boy look even more special. Timmy was overwhelmed with gratitude. He had been so close to giving up, but Emily had saved the day. He smiled at her, feeling a new sense of hope and friendship blossoming between them. Section 8. A Heart of Plasticine, a Hero's Shine. From that day forward, Comic Boy was no longer just Timmy's imaginary friend. He became a class favourite, inspiring countless new adventures and stories. Every dent, every smudge, every imperfection only added to his charm. Timmy learned a valuable lesson that day. True friendship and imagination have the power to win over even the most sceptical hearts. And that sometimes the most unexpected heroes come in the smallest and, well, squishiest packages. As for Comic Boy, he continued to live his life with the same goofy grin and infectious laughter. Because for Comic Boy, every day was a chance for a new adventure, a new laugh, and a new story to tell. Section 9. The Enduring Laughter of Comic Boy. So the next time you see a lump of clay, don't be so quick to dismiss it. You never know what adventures, what laughter, what heartwarming stories might lie within. After all, as Comic Boy taught us, it's not about what you're made of, but the joy you bring to the world. And Comic Boy, he's still out there, perched on a shelf, waiting for the next adventure to begin. He's a reminder that even in a world of pixels and screens, the simple joy of imagination and a good chuckle never gets old.